Hi, this is Susil. So in this video I'll be talking about the code base, the flow, and all the backend implementation that we have done for our supply chain prototype. So let me start with the code, the Python code that we have, which is running in the Raspberry Pi, or rather our gateway, to push the data to the cloud using MQTT. So we have one file called supplychain.python code, and here is the code. This particular Python code executes the command, reads the data on here line, on this line it reads the data from Arduino, and then there are other certain codes which actually reads the data from multiple different different sensors. Once census has been done, what we do is, like, we post the data to carriers. Also we have another post function which posts the data, the initial data or the initial RFID readings to Salesforce. I think and another code we have is SFDC. So this is the code which is actually used to send the data to Salesforce, and these are the other files like DST1 py, which is a program which is used to read on the census data from temperature sensors, humidity sensors, and similarly other sensors. Now coming to carriers. Previously I showed the Python code which reads the data from various different sensors and sends it to carrier using MQTT. Now coming to carriers is a SaaS platform for IoT, and here what we have done is, like, we go to the devices. We have created the devices that we want to send the data, and all the authentication and other factors will be provided from here itself. Now we have some rule managements over here. We have data managements where we can actually see the in-streaming data. We have rule managements where we define rules, we define listeners, and the activities that needs to be done. In our case, we have defined a temperature event. I don't think so it's temperature event, it's just named as temperature event. But let's go and see what rule we have defined inside this particular temperature, this particular listener. So in this listener, what we have said is, like, if the temperature is greater than 50 and similarly humidity is greater than 60, and all the different parameters that can be, if the motion has been detected and other parameters, then perform certain action. Certain action in this particular case would be sending the data to Salesforce via Salesforce API, and sending the data to other different channels as well. And so this is rule listener. We have data streams. So this is the place where we can see the data that we have previously sent. So in our census, I had sent some the load reading of this load reading of our devices, the sensor ID of our thing, the temperature. The XYZ axis are basically from an accelerometer. We have humidity and we have motion detected. So all these parameters, all these events and readings are present in carriers. So now for visualization and dashboarding purpose, we have used Freeboard, which is a open source tool. So we have defined a data source. Data source would be our carriers, our previous the data, all those data that are present over here in carriers. We have a API from carriers which can actually read that particular data, and we have some other authentication types. Now for humidity, we have shown. So for this particular dashboards and mapping, we have defined the data source. Data sources should be, it reads everything from carriage, it takes the last length and then shows the current reading for the humidity. Similarly for temperature and motion detected. And we have certain other different set of rules which we have defined in Salesforce as a business rules that can be used. So let me let me summarize everything, all the flow that we are doing. So we have certain Python code that runs on Raspberry Pi, which sends the data to carriage. Carriage in turn receives the data, does some kind of rule, runs some rule on it, has some listeners to see what is happening, and then if required, we are sending the events or the generated events to Salesforce. At the same time, we are using Freeboard, which acts as a real-time dashboard for all the data, all the events, and the conditions of the consignment that is going through. Thank you.